Alright, so let's take a look at a few sample answers. So the first one here, on the next trip, you're going to see a nice coral reef. As you can see, I said, on the next trip, you're going to see a nice coral reef. One good way to remember how to repeat this is to look at how I paused at the first part of the sentence, on the next trip. Here, when I pause, it's a good idea to then go back and think in your mind and repeat what you just heard to try and memorize the first half. That way, you can group up this sentence into two parts. This first part, on the next trip, and the second part, you're going to see a nice coral reef. Okay, so let's try another one, and let's see how accurate you are. Many of you are excited about the next generation tablet computers. So here we are again. Many of you are excited about the next generation tablet computers. So, if you take a look at that, that is where I paused. Many of you are excited about the next generation tablet computers. So you can group this sentence into two parts as well. Instead of trying to remember all of the words, you can just remember sections, trying to give the right emphasis, the right pause, and continuing on with remembering each section. Let's do another one. Actually, what I find is everyone has an interest in education. Here we go. Actually, what I find is everybody has an interest in education. You can see that I paused in the beginning after the comma, and I said, actually, what I find. And again, this is a good point for you to think in your head, what did you hear so far at the pauses? And just repeat that to yourself real quick. That way, when I say the next part, you only have to remember the other half of the sentence. So here we got part one, actually, what I find. That's part one. Part two is everybody has an interest in education. And notice my pronunciation. I'm saying it all like it's one word. I don't want to pause in between the words because there's no pauses, there's no commas. So try to see if you can do that the same. And our last sample. There have been 3 themes running through the conference which are relevant to what I want to talk about. This one's a little bit longer, but here we are. There have been 3 themes which are relevant to what I want to talk about. Here, instead of 2 sections, like what we've seen before, we have 3 sections to the sentence. The first one, there have been 3 themes, and so I would repeat that in your mind as soon as you hear the pause, which are relevant, and then to what I want to talk about. So, there have been 3 themes which are relevant to what I want to talk about. So try to see if you can use some of these strategies in order to help you when you're doing repeat sentence. And remember, if you cannot remember all the words, you could say something like, there have been 3 somethings which are something to what I want to talk about. You can use a placeholder word to continue with your oral fluency.